You probably know what Anki is. It's the best free and open source learning apps. With Anki you can learn many things, and that's why a lot of people use Anki to learn languages. And honestly, Anki is really good thanks to their space repetition system. With Anki, you make card, and the space repetition system tells you when you should review each card. The most difficult card need to be reviewed more often than the card you already know. But what I want to talk about today is freedom. Anki is also really good because it gives its user a lot of freedom. On Anki, you can make your own deck of cards with your own content. You can also share your deck with anyone you want, and you can also download any deck you want shared by other people. But it's not just about content. Anki also gives you a lot of customization, a lot of settings and very advanced settings so that you can really optimize your learning. You can also download some add-ons to make the app feel even better. And if you can do all of that in Anki, it's not for any reason. It's because Anki was made to solve all of those problems. Anki was made so that anyone can learn anything in the most efficient way as possible. That's why you have so much freedom in Anki, and that's why the space repetition system was really optimized over the years. But that should also have its weakness and limitation. For example, Anki was never made specifically for language learning. But therefore, Anki is really good for retaining information. But in language learning, you need exposition. You need to be able to recognize a word in context. And you also need to learn some grammar. And you cannot do any of that in Anki. But that's not what I wanted to talk today. Today, I want to explain why too much freedom can actually be bad for the user. Let's suppose that you want to learn Japanese for the first time. So you go on YouTube and you watch a video that explains that you can use Anki to learn Japanese. So you download Anki, and then what? There's no Japanese in Anki, you still don't know what to learn. So you can try to download the most commonly used word in Japanese and download some really simple sentences to learn Japanese yourself and make your own deck of cards. But it takes a long time to do all of that. And making your own deck on Anki is quite complex to do. So instead, you want to search a deck made by someone else. And you see there's dozens and dozens of deck of cards already made by people. And now what do you choose? You don't know which deck is better and which deck you should use to learn Japanese. And that's the problem with Anki. A lot of freedom actually gives you too much choice. You don't know which deck to choose among all of those. There's also a lot of advanced settings in Anki, but how can anyone supposed to know which settings to use? And I don't even talk about the bad user interface in Anki. Making your own deck of cards in Anki is not just hard because you have to know which content you have to learn exactly, but it is also difficult to do because you have to learn and understand how to make some card and how to use the Anki interface. Now, if you look at another app like Duolingo, when you first download Duolingo, you first need to choose which language you want to learn, but then that's it. You can immediately start learning, because when you use Duolingo, you don't want to make the choice of knowing which word you need to learn first. You just want to start learning immediately. Sometimes having only one choice is actually better than having too much freedom. So what's the solution? What if you want all of the benefit of Anki, but you want something that is much simpler to use, and you want an app that was made specifically for language learning? Then I recommend you to use Psitta, an open source app that I am currently making myself. Unfortunately, Psitta is still in development, but the first version should be ready in 1 or 2 months. And my goal with making Psitta is to first take the space repetition system from Anki, and then if I have the time, I will add as many features from different learning apps as possible. So I really want to make it possible to save your progression, to share some deck and some content with others. I also want to be possible to learn some grammar or to learn some words in context. So if you are curious, don't forget to like and subscribe.